9:33 now. The stock market near record highs. Unemployment remains low and employers are still adding jobs.
But a new report finds more Americans are skipping meals because they cannot afford food. So let's bring in our chief business correspondent, Taylor Young, to talk about this. What exactly did researchers find?
Yeah, so researchers with the New York Fed found a sharp increase in food insecurity in American households. And the headline number is 10% of American households report not having enough food because of prices, or a child missed a meal because of a lack of food. Now that number, that 10% number, is double of what we saw during the pandemic. And the report also found that more families, more households are dipping into savings in order to afford necessities like groceries. And I think this gives us kind of a reason of why we're seeing so many Americans not feeling like the economy is doing great, despite those really impressive positive metrics that we were just talking about.
Oh boy. So a lot of people might wonder, why is there such a big disconnect between this economic data that we're seeing and what households are actually experiencing?
Yeah, because the economy really isn't being experienced kind of equally. So we know the unemployment rate is low, still low. Household wealth is still boosting, and the strong stock market and also home prices the values are up. But I think the fact is that not every American household owns a home or invests, so they're not necessarily reaping the benefits of that. And they're the ones that are kind of dealing with those high grocery prices that they're up 30% compared to pre-pandemic. So yeah, while the economy is still growing, not everyone is necessarily benefiting from it.
So is this what economists mean when they talk about a K-shaped economy? What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So this is essentially what the K-shaped economy. It's when you have one group of people really financially benefiting from high home sales, from the stock market being great, while on the other side, like the bottom part of the K, those people are financially struggling. Again, not all families own their own home, not all invest. So what you have is the lower income households really spending a lot more of their income on the necessities like groceries. They're also high rent and childcare. So that kind of is how you're kind of seeing a strong stock market, a strong economy, but also a lot of households still struggling to be able to afford groceries.
Okay, K-shaped economy is something that we learned about this year. It's been around
absolutely.
forever, but so is there any sign of this improving?
So there are some reasons to be optimistic, right? So, inflation has significantly cooled from its peak during the pandemic or shortly after the pandemic. Wages continue to grow, and the job market remains relatively stable and healthy, competitive, but healthy. I think what's challenging, though, is once you have prices increase to a certain point, they really don't go back down. So what we're seeing is a lot of households still trying to catch up and readjust to these new prices. And I think it just comes down to the fact that a lot of Americans are still struggling to be able to afford those necessities or relying on credit cards to be able to do that. I think as a result of this, we're seeing more people take on side hustles or working more jobs. But yeah, we're experiencing essentially an economy that is completely different for two different sides of people in the country. Yeah.
We're all trying to do more with less, for sure. All right, Taylor, thank you. Appreciate it.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.